Hello, here we are again. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a Mesolithic culture called Lepenski Vir, but just in general. We're going to talk about Lepenski Vir for about 7 sessions or coffees. So, let us say first something. Lepenski Vir is considered to be a dawn of civilization at the Balkans, and this important culture puts Serbia as a cultural center of the world at that time. Okay. But let us say something, just a little bit about Mesolithic times. We were talking about Paleolithic last time. Mesolithic lasted from, I'm talking about Serbia, from 9,500 up to 5,800 BC, of course. And before that, I want to tell you 2 things. First one is about what does it mean, Lepenski Vir. Lepenski Vir, Vir is a whirlpool, and it's that culture is on the Danube. So there were whirlpools in the river at that time, very strong ones. And Lepenski, lep means beautiful, and lep means like concrete for making houses. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, so second thing is I'm broadcasting this from home, and I don't have enough things to show you, because when I have those like lessons for tourists, I'm showing them the characteristics on the concrete objects. I have here, let me have some coffee. This mug has water fairy, okay? I will put you the pictures later so you will see. This is maybe a kind of a house from Lepenski Vir. We don't know how the upper part looked like. And we're going to see tomorrow we're going to talk about houses and settlement, etc. You're going to see 5 or 6 different views from architects and archaeologists. We don't know the upper part. We only have the down part, the flooring of the houses. And this is beautiful. It was a kind of concrete at that time. Okay, so Lepenski Vir culture lasted from 9,500 until 5,500 BC. Can you imagine? So it's a first concrete. Okay, they had extremely specific that flooring. It's too complicated. We basically don't know why they didn't, for example, made some rectangular, or I don't know, something like that, you know, a down part of the floor, the shape of the floor. And I have this t-shirt, okay. This is the amulet, very, very known amulet from Lepenski Vir. It doesn't have this little leg here. I have it from ceramic. The original is, of course, from stone, okay. A kind of a prehistoric necklace. This is Adam. Adam is the first figurine. He's the oldest figurine, and it's called Adam because only his head is carved, and the rest of the body is still a pebble. Okay. Then we have Danubius, this one. You see how I just wanted to show you those strange faces. Danubius is a male deity, and it was all about Danube and fish god, a kind of a fish god. Okay, and this is a very nice figurine called Last View. Okay, Now let's go on about Mesolithic times. What can we say? Just a second. Okay, in general, Mesolithic, those the life at Mesolithic times. What's the biggest difference between Paleolithic and Mesolithic is the production and use of miniature flint tools, and they were used to make composite tools. Composite tool is from two different material, two or more, but basically two. For example, when you have a metal axe and you put the hand, the part that you that is in your hand, the carrier, is from wood. Okay, so the carrier from wood or from bone, you insert miniature silexes. But beside the tool from stone, now you have massive production of different tools from bone, horn, and wood. For example, axes, pickaxe, sickle, hook, top of the arrows, as well as some parts for fishing, some things for fishing, for example, nets and fishing tackle. Okay, then you have sledges for transportation, and at the end of the period, ceramic too. We're going to talk about that transition from Mesolithic to Neolithic times because you can see it at Lepenski Vir. So now at Mesolithic, the tools are more efficient, and thus it's the bigger amount of gathered food. Okay, now where is Lepenski Vir? Is on the Danube, down at the Romanian border. And first we have to say that it's a collection of settlements, of sites. The eponym site is Lepenski Vir. Eponym means the whole culture got the name because of that settlement, and it is the most important. But it consists, I will tell you, we have, I don't know, 20 or 30. For example, Lepenski Vir in Serbia, Lepenski Vir, Vlasac, Hajdučka Vodenica, Padina, etc. We have it a lot, but Vlasac, it's a kind of a herb, chive, I don't know how you say it. Hajdučka Vodenica, for example, means something like Desperados mill, something like that. It doesn't matter. And on the Romanian side, you have Razvrata, Ikoana, and a few others. So, at that part of the Danube, the river is going to the south. So, when you are at Lepenski Vir and you look at the other side of the river, you are looking at east. There is a kind of a rock, very big rock, called Treskavac. That means something shaking. Why? Because it doesn't matter why. Because of the, how do you say, munje I gromovi. Okay, when it's bad weather, you have those shaking things on it. But what's important, behind that Treskavac, the sun is going up. And we are going to talk about archaeoastronomy, and we're going to see that Lepenski Vir people knew the most important dates during the year, and that is, you know, the beginning of spring, the beginning of winter, and the beginning of seasons, you know. So astronomically important dates. Okay. So it's on the right bank of Danube. And what happened At the end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s of the last century, there was, but let me first start with 1960. That is the year when it was discovered by archaeologist Obrad Kujović and the architect Ivica Kostić. Okay, they found out about Lepenski Vir, but the excavation of the site started in 1965, and the most important person was the archaeologist Dragoslav Srejović. I think it's the biggest archaeologist in Serbia, very, very important. Okay, he was doing that, digging, that excavations. Okay. What was the point? That archaeological site, Lepenski Vir, had to be displaced because of the construction of the dam Đerdap. Okay, so that produced a little bit of a problem because all those excavations digging was a little bit too hasty, you know. But never mind. So first they thought it was a periphery, some minor settlement of Starčevo culture, and Starčevo is the first Neolithic culture from about 6,300 until 5,500. Okay, they thought why? Because they saw material from Starčevo that was at the up. Okay, so and Srejović, but Srejović was digging very fast through that Neolithic layer of Lepenski Vir to come to Mesolithic parts. Okay, in 1960, so the next year, 66, they were found for the first time, the first unusual traces of an unknown culture, petrified floors and accompanying pieces of architecture. In 1967, first monumental, these are monumental sculptures. I'm not sure how many of them. Tuesday we are going to talk about sculptures, but it's about 50 or something, between 50 and 100. I will see how much exactly. In 1969, so before it was the end of excavation, Dragoslav Srejović published his monography, Lepenski Vir, the new prehistoric culture in Danube area, something like that. His interpretation, I will tell you now what he said. Okay, his interpretation was inspiring, very poetical, philosophical, regarding that culture, and those are his words now, is original and self-sown, you know, and that is the big achievements are not consistent to the general how do you say that in French? Okay, to the general milieu of that time, of the spirit of the epoch, so in which it was born, and the other cultures were very simplified cultures of hunting and gathering communities of the Middle Stone Ages. Okay, and that means it wasn't possible to make a parallel with anything that was known from that time. It was a new thing That is the point. Okay, what happened next? 1971, it's the end of excavations, and it was explored 2,500 square meters, and the whole site was transferred, okay, dislocated, transferred to about a place that is very near, but about 30 meters higher place, okay? And why? Because the Danube, the level of Danube was raised for 12 meters. Our biggest architect, De Rocco, said that this was the biggest cultural massacre of the 20th century. Why? Because they did it, they were hasting, and I don't know, maybe did not so accurate with it as they should. But we're going to talk about that too. Okay, what we have? We have 7 big successive layers, that means settlements, of and for example, 136 objects that are for living and religious too, okay? And those were from Mesolithic fishermen, hunters, gatherers, artists, priests, okay, priests in that sense of that time, not today's sense, but as well as first those who are doing agriculture and have animals, okay. So for 9 millennium is this culture still basically a secret for us still. Okay, let me see what we said, what we didn't say. Okay, what happened? What happened? What is so special and so extraordinary about this culture? We're going to talk architecture, sculpture, burial ritus, okay, the way they treated their deceased, complex economy, the level of civilization, and then we have particular findings as this amulet, as a kind of we have, for example, spheroid, like a ball from stone that has some signs that are very mysterious. We're going to talk about that when we talk about archaeoastronomy, etc. And okay, 2011, from that year on, is the initiative that Lepenski Vir is put under UNESCO, to put it on their list, okay? But there are 2 things. First, it's moved from its original place. But I think that we have some other cultures that are moved and then still are protected by UNESCO. That is first, but I have to tell you, when the level of Danube is very, very low, you can see the remainings of houses there on the original site. So that can be an argument for UNESCO's list. Okay. First it was moved to the old museum. Now we have a new museum. You can go to Facebook 7 Rivers Earth or Prehistoric Mojo, and then you will put in the comments are going to be photographs for this. Oh my God, I wasn't smoking, but good. See, we are at the end. This is crazy. Okay, let me have some coffee. I just want to tell you for a minute one thing, and that is we have, because it lasted very long, so we have a Mesolithic part, and that's the most important, because the figurines, those figurines are the most important things from Lepenski Vir. But at the end of Lepenski Vir, I told you, from about 6,300, 6,250, we have a Neolithic part, and that's Starčevo layer. Okay, but it's still Lepenski Vir culture. We stepped into Neolithic. Okay, and the Neolithic revolution is domestication of animals, beginning of agriculture, and making of ceramic, beginning of making of ceramic. So we have ceramic material from Lepenski Vir, okay, from that time, but it's not that important, and it's not a lot of it. Okay, we have to say goodbye now. Take care. We'll see each other tomorrow, and stay safe. See you.